Hello, everyone. Very good morning, good evening. So we are starting the healthcare special interest group meetings in the new year, and we have got new people joining with us. Uh, so I would like to have a quick introduction of Tanjin and Juan. Like before we start, Alfonso, I will take the lead to introduce him. Uh, Please go ahead.
Tanjin.
Yeah, should I start? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Thank you for having me here. Yeah, probably this is my first time I'm joining with you guys. Very glad to be here. So I'm Tanzin. I'm from Bangladesh, and I'm the co-mentor of Learning Token. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being. Uh, John, can you go ahead, please?
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation, Alfonso. It's a pleasure.
Yes, please go ahead.
Anasuya, both of them know me, but if you want to introduce for the recording.
Okay.
And I need to share my screen.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So today, we have Alfonso with us. He will be talking about the learning tokens for healthcare special interest group, especially. And what we have done in the previous year, we had this from May 2024, we started having presentations blockchain-based blood bank network by Akshay Kurekar. That was the first one, and then followed by Dan Namchain. Then Amit Chandra gave talk about how the healthcare system with the government, how we can take it forward. And from KBA, we had Adarsh and Soya Chandra talking about immunochain and pharma chain. And from Simplify Softtech, Harini and Prashant, they talked about the pharma track and trace. And last meeting we had in December, so we had a recap of what and all we have done in 2024 as well as what we are planning for 2025. So with that, let's directly go for today's presentation. We have Alfonso. He's an alumna of MIT and UIA. Is a passionate about architecture, cities, and the digital world. He holds a Master of Architecture in Advanced Studies in Applied Computer Science from MIT. He is an architect and urbanist from Universidad uh, Iberoamericana in Mexico City. He is a member of National Academy of Architecture in Mexico, Colleges of Architects of Mexico and Madrid, Spain. Principal of Alfonso Govella Architectos. He has been a professor of architecture at the National University of Mexico, Metropolis consultant on urban innovation and blockchain, and UN Habitat consultant. In the past 7 years, he has worked extensively in advocacy, capacity training, and entrepreneurship support for blockchain and DLT applications. Linux Foundation mentor and founding member of Hyperledger Latino America regional chapter at Hyperledger Foundation. He leads Learning Tokens, a joint project of Hyperledger and the Global Blockchain Business Council, that is GBBC. He is also an ambassador for GBBC. Once again, welcome, Alfonso. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Anasuya, for the invitation, and thank you to the healthcare SIG community. Can I share my screen? Yes.
Yes, please.
So, Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. We are a small group, so please feel free to comment and interrupt whenever you want, you would like. Okay. So the idea behind learning tokens is that the transmission of knowledge is a real-world asset. So between an instructor and a learner, skill is transmitted from the instructor to the learner. The learner acquires that skill and let it know the instructor. Afterwards, the instructor assesses that skill and the learner proves that the skill has been acquired. Once that happens, a skill is recognized both ways. The learner getting the skill, the instructor transmitting the skill. So with that, we are able to tokenize education because a learning token is given at any and every interaction of learning. It could be a question in a quiz, or it could be a quiz, it could be a lesson. It's up to the instructor to decide the granularity of learning token recognition. Once we have that, we create two skill wallets. Wallets where profiles of skills that have been acquired are proved in with tokens. We can have an attendance tokens that recognize precisely what it says, the attendance of the learner at a learning experience. We can also have a score for learner, how much has it been learned, and how much the instructor wants to give as tokens or points for the learner. And also we can have a health token, which is a recognition of the learner engagement and the learner help to others for collective education. On the other side, we can have the learner can recognize a score for the instructor so that the instructor is assessed in his capacities to transmit education. So this learning tokens can be for attendance, for how much learners have learned, how much learners have helped others and instructors collective education, and how much is the score for the instructor teaching. Okay. For instance, each token has metadata, and that's what gives the token its relevance and its importance. An example could be today. And so a token of attendance would have the name of the institution that is giving the token. In this case, Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust. The community would be Healthcare Special Interest Group. The organizer is Anasuya, our good friend, and the speaker is the one with the voice, myself. Then comes two concepts that are extremely relevant. We can specify for each token what fields of knowledge and what taxonomy of skills are taught. For the time being, we have begun using the Department of Education of the United States classifications of fields of knowledge, but we could use anyone. If Anasuya, as chair of this SIG, has another field of knowledge taxonomy that she would like to use, she is welcome to do it. In this case, using the CIP from the Department of Education, you can see we have public health in general, and also the issues of administrative services for health and medical. I have selected this too as an example for today. but the instructor has the freedom to choose the taxonomy that she or he wants. For the taxonomy of skills, there is a what is called a digital quotient taxonomy, and I pick up from there. Number 18, which is the commercial and community use of technology, and number 23, emerging technology and innovation literacy. What does it mean to have these two concepts, fields of knowledge and taxonomy of skills? That we not only have who issues the token and who receives the tokens and when, but in what fields of knowledge is the skill and in what taxonomy the skill is recognized. So that one, after that, can define the event. This is the first monthly meeting of this year. The date is January 22nd. The name of whomever gets the token and the quantity. And the same metadata is for any of the 4 tokens. Okay, so they're standardized. And what this means is that the wallets, as they receive the tokens, they have a balance of tokens that has all the metadata. So a profile can be built over time for these tokens, regardless of the content, the institution, whomever. The fields of knowledge and the taxonomy of skills are the 2 standard elements that a learner can use to present a profile with absolute control, with SSI, the self-sovereign identity. And the same happens for the instructors. Something that is important to mention, because every time we talk about learning tokens, someone says, yes, but there are digital credentials. And they're very good digital credentials in the past 9 years, and very important. And what I like to emphasize is that it's not either or. In fact, learning tokens complement digital credentials. And using an accounting example, digital credentials are like financial statements at the end of a fiscal period. Learning tokens, on the other hand, are like the daily accounting of transactions that support those final statements. So learning tokens is for the process, digital credential is for the final report. They complement each other. In the past year of the Linux mentorship program, we had at Learning Tokens 2 platforms that we can use. One for communities that need, and one for communities that remember. For the community that need, we have a video conferencing. We did an SDK for Zoom Meetups. With that, we can turn your meetings into learning resources. With the video repositories, the AI and YouTube, we can turn your videos into learning resources. What happens with the SDK of Zoom? To protect the privacy of participants, Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust asks you to opt in for learning tokens. This is voluntary. In order to do so, you can either write your name and email in the chat of this meetup, or write us an email to learningtokens@lfdecentralizedtrust.org. It would be very good for us if you try this option in the email and share your name and email. On the other side of the screen, for the remembrance of communities, we are working with public information. So the issue of privacy is not within the platform as the Zoom conferencing of of LFDT. For the video repositories in YouTube, once the video is published in the LFDT YouTube channel, well, it's very simple. You can select it, and you can find in the description the learning tokens link. If you follow the link, you'll get a quiz. If you answer the quiz, you'll get your learning tokens. So these are the two ways we provide a connection between platforms and learning tokens. An SDK for Zoom Meetup, AI for YouTube. What is the architecture for the community Meet? Well, the community as an organization creates an event in a learning platform. It could be any learning platform. In our case, is Zoom Ahorita. And the speaker of that organization can define the content and the assessment and the scoring guide for that event, so that the community participants can look at the event, solve the assessment, and with that information, the lower part of our architecture is a web app. A web app with three parts: an onboarding process, SDK and APIs, and information post-event. The onboarding is of the metadata that I showed you before: organizations, instructors, events, participants, fields of knowledge, skills, and scoring guides. This is done once, okay? For instance, for the SIG and Asuya, it would be done once at the beginning of the year, and change maybe scoring a field of knowledge and skills if you want to be specific for the event. Once we have that onboarding, as the learning platform evolves, our SDK allows us to get information post-event and allows us to know the participant, quizzes, polls, Q&A, and chats. And with that information, we can create and distribute tokens for attendance, score for learners, health score for instructors, and at the same time, distribute those tokens to skill wallets to build skill profiles, but also create the register of truth for all the organizations, instructors, etc. So this is the way we do it for learning platforms. For the time being, we only have two SDKs for the video conferencing and for the video repositories. But we are conscious that we should, and in the future, add for learning management systems, for internet resources, for code repositories, for any particular platform that a user likes to use. Okay? Now, this learning tokens procedure can be framed and supported by AI. And basically, the support and the framing is for three aspects: content, jobs, and learn. And we have established 8 modules. We have only one. We shall continue with the other 7. The one we have is the one related to content. Okay? Context would help all the instructors, to find with AI support fields of knowledge and taxonomy of skills. For the learning environments, we can offer that same help. For the market of talent, we can offer a match between skill profile and task descriptions. And then for the learner, besides the skill profiles, we offer 3 things. We offer a memory, a notebook where transcripts and quizzes can be stored in a personal database. We can have also a tutor that would help explore learning paths from the position reached by the skill profile. and also a job coach that would use the skill profile to find jobs. So an example of the first module that we have solved, which is the content. If you have a YouTube video like this one from the healthcare SIG, which is the pharma chain, okay, blockchain-based drug traceability system, it is in YouTube. So what we can do with the apps that we have used is we can create a summary, an AI summary of what is presented in that YouTube video. This summary, of course, can be reviewed by Soya Chandra, the speaker, by Anna Suya, the organizer, and they can make amends in any way they want. So AI helps, but the final control is in the hand of the speaker and the organizer. Once the summary is approved, then we generate with another app a quiz. Quizzes can be generated in the format that you want. In this case, I selected 5 questions in multi-options format. Okay. Again, the quiz is first vetoed by Soya and by Anasuya. Once both of them agree on what AI presented us, then we can add, okay, to the videos, we can add the transcript, the summary, the quiz, and a QR or a link to a Google form with the exam. The moment that Google form with exam is answered, if it's answered correctly, according to the scoring guide that Soya and Anasuya defined, we give as many tokens as both of them decide. What happens with this? With this is that you watch a video, you answer a quiz, and you earn learning tokens. So any resource in YouTube can turn into a learning resource. Okay? It's very simple, and it's there for everyone to use this. What this allows the SIG is to build a learning library, build up learning library of YouTube videos with learning, where we have transcripts, summary, quizzes, we have QRs or links to our exams, we give the tokens, and so we can begin to build KPIs of subjects, speakers, learners, and anything that, in this case, our SIG, or in any other case. Now, it could be for, a specific startup that teaches, I'm going to use an example, tongue-in-cheek, that teaches coding to children, okay? And Asuya knows that I'm referring to BE World, okay? And the same process can be applied to anything that happens for now in Zoom and anything that ends up in YouTube. So this is what learning tokens is about. And if you like it, and if you want to be part of this pilot project that is initiating today for the SIG, healthcare SIG, and it would go until May. It would be February, March, April, May. If you want to opt in, write us an email to learning tokens at lfdecentralizedtrust.org, or at every Zoom that we have, write your email and name in the chat. So this is what it is. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. And
That was wonderful, Alfonso. Like,
and start a conversation, you know? I'm more interested in the critiques.
I could see like Garima is interested in like very as a first person she wanted the learning token. Garima, shoot your questions.
So I find it very interesting that we can have learning tokens. We can create the course content. We can create certain kind of use cases for the students to learn, or anybody can participate. So, like for example, the token distribution will be from like LFDD team size or your side, and where they can avail the tokens.
We have thank you, Garima, for your question. It's very relevant. Now, we have the smart contracts for the tokens. Okay.
Okay.
Those tokens are registered, accepted and registered in the token taxonomy framework, which is a global reference, okay, from the Global Blockchain Business Council. Okay. And we have several options. It could be a service that we provide, or you could have either in your organization, your startup, your school, you can have this learning tokens and you can become a node in a network of sites, institutions that use learning tokens. The tokens are given directly to the learners. The learners have the tokens in their skill wallets, and the instructors have their tokens in their skill wallets. What the institution can have, with either a learning tokens as a service or with your own infrastructure, is the registry of trust. You keep the registry of trust, you know, together with the standard learning tokens, with all the data that is private to the institution, the organization. It's yours for you to keep and for you to protect, and you don't have to show it. That's a nice thing. It's the scheme of verifiable credential.
Okay.
So learning tokens is a type of a verifiable credential.
Like a DID, we can say digital identity. DID, we are verifying the learners also. DID I have implemented sir earlier with some projects, so that's why I asked you. It's a kind of DID.
Yes, yes. It's a we in Mexico we speak Spanglish. Okay. So in Spanglish we call it DITS.
Okay.
The DID are DITS. Yeah, it's an identity. All the metadata that I show you are actually DITS.
Yes, yes.
They're just aggregated in a token because that token connects several DITs. The DITs of the institution, the DIT of the organizer, the DIT of the course or the event, the DIT of the fields of knowledge. But all of that is the DIT of the learner, and which if he wants or she wants to be identified as a DIT, he could do it anonymously with just a wallet. But that's what it is. What we're building is an accountancy of learning.
Yes, yes.
Because there are plenty schemes, very good schemes that you can use for digital credentials. MIT has a digital credential consortium organization. If you're interested in that field, please join the community. I'm part of that community too. But you see, all credentials are at the end of the process. And the example I like to give is, I have my diploma from MIT. It's beautiful, it's parchment, it's, calligraphy written by hand, drawn. It's beautiful, okay? And it's very important because it's MIT, but it doesn't tell what Alfonso learned or failed to learn while at MIT. Okay. So if I present that to you, you're trusting MIT, not Alfonso. And you are correct because you know nothing about me. So all of the digital credentials work correctly with the reputation of the issuer. In learning
Yes.
tokens, we include the
Yeah,
reputation,
actually,
but the details.
most of the are verified on the side of provider only. For example, agencies, for example, institutions, they provide the credentials, so we verify them, not the person who is owning that credential.
Neither the knowledge and skill that that person acquired.
Yes, yes, yes.
You see, the difference is it's great to have a credential because that's the way we have worked for many centuries. For many centuries, since universities were created, there would be a degree. Okay. And universities keep data for getting that degree in private. And that data is not shared. I mean, all the scores, they're not shared with the learner. So what we're doing is we're giving the learner ownership of the scores of what they learn. Okay. Together with the university. Okay. But it shows what I actually learned. It would have shown what I actually learned at MIT. Okay.
I got it.
So it's an accountancy of learning in a granular way. It helps the institution because we're at a layer of standardization. It helps the learner because, for instance, 85% of online courses are not finished. And the 15% of online courses that are finished, only 2% are certified. So why is that? Well, someone says it has to do with emotional engagement and interest. But what I feel, being from Mexico and sharing, now they call us the Global South. I'm old enough to remember when they called us the underdeveloped world. Okay. In the Global South, if $150, $200 for a certification, it's a lot of money. For an American or European, it might be reasonable. But in Latin America, in Asia, in Africa, it's a very expensive certification. So we might advance in an online course and then drop. Okay. If we don't certify, we don't get any recognition. With learning tokens, we get recognition as much as we advance.
Yes.
I talk too much. You have to say, Alfonso, stop. Okay.
It is like continuous learning, like we are tracking the learning continuously, correct?
Yes, and granularly.
Yes,
You
yes.
track with the granularity that you consider convenient. Learning tokens is just an accounting mechanism. It has nothing to do with the content. No, it has nothing to do with the assessment. It can work in any language. It can work in many places in the world. You simply register what you want to register, what matters to you and your student. It's very humble at the same time, very ambitious. And as it is new, it will take us together a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that's why we want to have traction. And that's why we thank you, Anasuya, for the opportunity to do a pilot with healthcare SIG and with Bini Work also.
Thank you. It is like we are into this community. Let's do something good for the community. That's all.
Yes. Juan Jesus, if you want to ask in Spanish and have me translate it into English, you're welcome to do so. If you want to do it in English, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Alfonso. It's very interesting. It's my first time when I listened you to explaining the talking learnings, and my mind imagined different use case to use the in different situations. For example, in the healthcare, when the doctor finish a surgery and the surgery end no good, the learning tokens is interesting because it's useful to analyze why the surgery don't end fine. Because analyze the history to the doctor who learn or who not learn in the mm, learning period, and who took courses took, and what is the responsibility. Because the commitment is, what is the responsibility? If the fail is for the equipment, if failure for the doctor, it's very interesting and revolutionary to the how to attend the discussion when the medical situation don't finish good. It's very interesting, Alfonso.
What you're saying is correct, and I'm going to answer on the side of learning tokens, and Asuya might answer better on terms of healthcare. In terms of learning tokens, what you're saying is if you have the accounting of learning, then you can verify in that accounting. You can do an auditing. You can do an auditing of knowledge within the learning tokens accountancy. Now, whether and how to do it with the health care sector, I'm not prepared to answer that. Unless we get, we want to answer that. Or I can answer with the irony. My father was a physician, and I'd like to quarrel with him in saying that physicians and manufacturers of parachutes have no complaints. Okay. Because if there's a failure, there's a death. But that's a very irreverent and insensitive quarrel between a son and a father. That's why I prefer not to answer about health and healthcare.
No, actually, in healthcare, like we can try to include it, but we have to clearly, like, for example, if every consultation that can be like something like can be recorded or something, but that we have to check about like what is the privacy like in that, because it is patient data. We have to be like very careful about that. And when it comes to surgeries and all, that is again, everything is a private matter. So like each person can have their data secured, but I'm not very sure whether we can give some tokens or there. Like we have to like discuss on that, because so many privacy issues has to be considered over there.
Thank you, Anasuya. Tanzin, would you like to add something as co-mentor and responsible, co-responsible?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So, so right now, like the way we have designed the ecosystem of learning token, it's more focused on the LMS learning management system. If we can summarize. So let's say it fits very well in a workshop. Maybe it's an online or offline, an university workshop. So in that way, actually, very well. Yeah, in terms of like as Amaswa just mentioned, like in terms of the uh, healthcare, the data is very much sensitive, and like, we need to be more cautious about that. So yeah, we need to like figure out and think how we can like expand that sector as well in our learning token ecosystem. Apart from that, yeah, I'd like to invite all of the participants here to just write down your email so that like those who are very much interested about exploring learning tokens and have your own skill wallet, so reflects all your the attendance to, and probably you'll get it there. Yeah.
Well, Anasuya, that's all on our part. We want to thank you for the invitation, and we look forward to the pilots.
And thank you, Tanjin and Alfonso. Like, I feel honored, and like we are kind of piloting it on Hyperledger Special Interest Group. Hope it will go very well, and like it will be a successful one, I believe. And anyone want to add something?
It was a very good session, and we should have more session like this in future.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Lakshmi, for joining. Like you can check with Alfonso for incorporating the learning tokens in KBA if possible. Hi, Ankita.
Hello. Sorry, I'm very late. I had some conflict and I missed.
It's fine. You have to listen to the
I'll just-
recording. And like,
yeah, I'll just go through the recording now.
yeah. Okay, if nothing there, we can wind off the meeting. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone. We will meet next month in healthcare special interest group, like every third Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. IST. That is GMT +3. That is what we will be doing, and ET 11 a.m. So that is what we are following now. So probably we will meet next month, and hopefully from next month onwards, we will start issuing the learning tokens. Am I right, Alfonso? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you once again.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a
Thank
good
you
day.
all.
Good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John, for joining.